What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Prodigy, and welcome to our video on the channel. So, after the Union Cross finale, I had a lot of time to reflect and ponder about what we had just seen both in the finale itself, but also in Union Cross as a whole. Excluding Dark Road, since it isn't quite done yet, if you count that of course as part of the key compilation. But there really were a lot of very memorable moments when we'd wake up and watch an update together. It took a long time for certain story plots to move and for them to unfold, for twists to materialize, but I'd say in the end, a lot of it was genuinely worth it. The experience was pretty satisfying. Of course, I wish for a remaster of all these scenes in the Kingdom shader art style, but considering what we have already, I think the story is pretty good. This isn't every scene I liked in Union Cross, there's too many to count, but these are some of the more standout ones that resonated with me in some way. So without further ado, I bring to you the most memorable moments in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's start off with something that would shape Union Cross as we knew it. After being just introduced to this expansion of Unchained Key that we would come to know as Union Cross, we were greeted with 5 Union leaders from among the Dandelions. This was greeted with lots of story and expanded elements of Master Ava's role from Kingdom Hearts Key back cover, the movie that was featured in 2.8. They introduced us to the first 3 Union leaders and then revealed the 4th and the 5th after 2 more updates. When we got around to the 5th Union leader, it was a backstory about this girl who had been watching over our player character. Her name was Strelitzia. She was a shy girl who really wanted to be friends with us, our player, since she found us interesting, but couldn't really work up the courage to talk with us. It was kind of sweet. She was greeted by Master Ava to become a Union leader after the war ended, though this would eventually lead to her worrying about the player if they weren't a Dandelion, as they would have died in the Keyblade War, and nearly did. So she wanted to take them with her to make sure they survived, to recruit them as a Dandelion. Unfortunately, this would lead to her own demise, in a heartfelt death scene that led her into a dark room where it would happen, and another Union leader would take her place, as they took the book and would be hiding among the 5. This sparked multiple story arcs. For one, this sparked the mystery of who was the fake Union leader, along with what happened during Strelitzia's murder and the motivations behind it. This would eventually encompass the entire story of Union Cross and spiral into bigger things as we would lead into the ending. Strelitzia's initial reveal in such a short time touched fans, as out of a lot of the Union Cross characters, her personality and general expression stood out above some others, making her feel special and getting fans attached pretty quickly. This would end up working pretty well towards her death scene feeling a lot more tragic, and continuously being added upon in later updates when we'd find out characters like Lauriam and her were siblings. In the flashback scene where Lauriam was remembering Strelitzia, we saw even more of a expressive side of her and how she acted around her brother, and it's probably one of my favorite scenes in Union Cross. I just loved it. Her reveal and death was a moment I will probably never forget, and I'm definitely one of those people that grew attached to her character, and after the finale, I'm definitely hoping to see more of her in the future. Just to knock the Union leader reveals out of the way, since they are givens, I feel like everyone was surprised at the reveals of Lauriam and Ventus. Ventus coming first and shaking up the community to its core. I was admittedly conflicted about these two being Union leaders at first, especially Lauriam, but I grew to love it. Ventus being revealed in Union Cross was mind-blowing. This character in Birth by Sleep was largely built off of mystery, not fully knowing who he was, what he was, and only really having the connection between him and his friends as a big motivation, though Union Cross would add even more elements to this, showing that Ventus' story goes way deeper. Lauriam took some time to get used to, but they added to so much of his character in Union Cross and made his premise so interesting, enhancing his role in Chain of Memories while also making him somebody to keep your eyes on as a member of the organization in Kingdom Hearts 3. He previously had interest in the Keyblade. Now knowing that he was a Keyblade wielder, it's crazy. Even after the reveal of who hurt Laurium's sister, Laurium was angry but would later come to find hope and seemingly forgive and want to protect Ventus. Little acts like Laurium being committed to keeping Ventus safe is one of the coolest and just absolutely one of the most precious dynamics in Kingdom Hearts that I love to see. I mean, look at them. They're great. These two being revealed in Union Cross, now being characters from the past, and Laurium having been previously a Keyblade wielder, came at a big surprise to fans, which I think in the end a lot of us can say ended up making Key a lot more interesting than it already was. Outside of the Union Leader reveals, going to a cutscene way back, the Ava and Luxu cutscene right before the Keyblade War would start was one of the most hype and intriguing experiences I've had in a Kingdom Hearts cutscene. This scene would take place moments before the Keyblade War started, during a lot of events happening at once. Strelitzia's death happened during this time frame, the foretellers would be fighting amongst each other during a lot of this, and a lot of things definitely sparked from this moment in Key. Master Luxu had been gone for some time at this point, and Master Ava would find him and spark a conversation about what's going on. Luxu would monologue about the book and the law's page, talking a bit about his role. This segment would end with Master Ava and Luxu clashing Keyblades as the vibration of their clash would ring the bell that would spark the Keyblade War. This was just a result of some really epic storytelling, and this scene from beginning to end, this whole segment sequence was just amazing. And this was first shown a while ago when Kingdom Hearts Key browser ended, though this scene still remains one of the most memorable experiences I've had with a cutscene, being one of the centerpieces of the argument for why I think a remaster of Union Cross would be just beautiful, just so I can see this scene in some gorgeous CGI or effects with the epic music to go with it. It would be amazing to experience this again. The player is a pretty overlooked character. I feel like I've been overlooking this character as well. They aren't just an OC, as you don't really choose how they react to pivotal situations. They very much so have their own character and drives and motivations. We just get to customize them and experience it. Though one of the defining moments of the player character, I think, is in the finale when they pretend darkness has taken over them and fight Ephemer and Scold, making one of the toughest but realistic one of the smartest decisions and forcing Ephemer to open a portal for the darknesses. This happening only after the player will be forced to fight their two closest friends who had been with us the entirety of our Union Cross journey, in Ephemer and Scold, who double as the final bosses of the game. The player would then seal the pathway on the other side, trapping the darknesses in between the gateway, and out of anger, the darknesses, of course, destroyed the player. This was a moment that was just a true act of bravery by our player, and a selfless act, and saved their best friends in the process. A huge moment in Union Cross that would lead to some crazy reveals about the Dream Eaters and what Xehanort was. The last scene I'll talk about is a little short, but it's an extended case of Luxu cutscene. This scene was already just about perfect in Key back cover, and they expanded upon it and added even more lore and enhancing the dynamic between Luxu and the Master, and I just love this. Luxu actually speaking up to the Master and showing that he doesn't agree with any of this, though despite that carries out his role. We learn so much here about the exact role the foretellers are meant to fill. You can see how this will lead into the epilogue. That long story that Luxu is going to be telling might be a little bit about this, but I definitely know this scene was great and was one of the best ways to start off our big finale to Union Cross. Hearing the Master explain his plan for defeating darkness was quite interesting, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds, or if it does. To keep it brief though, this scene just simply was masterful in both his dialogue, expression, and how it will likely lead into future games and build interest. These are all the scenes I wanted to talk about today. Some of the more major memorable moments from my experience playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. I hope Kingdom Hearts Dark Road later this month has some moments on par with these, and I can't wait to see how that story unfolds and how it continues what the Union Cross finale would end up doing. Let me know some of your favorite moments in the comment section down below. let's get a little bit of a discussion going. However, if you guys enjoyed today's video, you already know what to do. Be sure to leave a like, share the video with a friend or a family member, and last but not least, if you haven't already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. Bye.
Now she's a daydreamer. She's always thinking about him. No more room in this picture for you to fit in. Now she's crying on the phone, telling you she's not good enough for him. When you think that she is